Today, we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and at times a bit challenging: passive aggressive behavior. It's something we've all encountered, maybe even displayed ourselves, but understanding it can make a world of a difference in our relationships. In this video, we'll be breaking down what passive aggressive behavior looks like, unraveling its subtle traits, and discussing the impact it can have on our relationships and communication. Be sure to stick around, because by the end, we'll also share some effective strategies for dealing with passive aggressive behavior both in ourselves and others. Passive aggression is a form of communication where negative feelings are expressed indirectly, often through subtle and unassuming actions or words. It's like a hidden language that can leave us feeling puzzled and frustrated. To illustrate, imagine someone who agrees to do a task but deliberately procrastinates or does it poorly, creating tension without directly addressing the issue. That's a classic example of passive aggressive behavior. It's the art of saying one thing while meaning another, leaving the recipient with the challenge of decoding the hidden message. Picture this. You've worked hard on a project, and someone looks at your results and says, "Well, that's interesting." Now, on the surface, it sounds neutral, but the tone and the hesitation implies a lack of genuine approval. It's a subtle form of passive aggression known as backhanded compliments. Or perhaps you've experienced this one. You suggest a plan, and someone responds with a sigh and a half-hearted, "Sure, let's do that." Again, on the surface, it seems agreeable, but the nonverbal cues and tones suggest a reluctance or resistance. This is another classic example of passive-aggressive behavior. So, passive-aggressive behavior is often characterized by indirect expressions of negativity, leaving the other person to decipher the true meaning behind the words or actions. Let's dive into the fascinating world of recognizing its subtle traits. Identifying these traits can be like deciphering a hidden code, but fear not, we're here to break it down. One of the key traits of passive-aggressive behavior is sarcasm. You know, those remarks that seem harmless on the surface, but carry a sharp undertone. For example, if you present an idea and someone responds with, "Well, aren't you the genius of the day?" That's a classic hint of sarcasm. Another telltale sign is the art of a backhanded compliment. It's like receiving praise with a hidden jab. Picture this. You show off a new haircut and someone says, "Wow, that's a bold choice, isn't it?" Beneath the surface, there's a subtle suggestion that maybe it wasn't the best decision. Have you ever experienced these situations? Passive-aggressive individuals might not say what they truly feel, but their body language often betrays them. Eye rolls, sighs, and dismissive gestures can speak volumes without a single word being uttered. I remember a time when I suggested a new project, and instead of a straightforward response, I got an exaggerated eye roll. It took me a moment to realize that the eye roll spoke louder than any words could have. It was a clear sign of disagreement. So, whether it's sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or nonverbal cues, recognizing these traits is the first step in understanding passive-aggressive behavior. Understanding the root causes behind this communication style can provide us with valuable insights into why people express themselves in such subtle ways. One of our primary root causes is the fear of confrontation. Some individuals find direct confrontation uncomfortable or anxiety inducing. Rather than expressing their feelings openly, they resort to passive aggressive behavior as a way to avoid the discomfort of a direct conversation. Think about a time when you had to give constructive feedback to a colleague or a friend. It's not always easy, right? Well, imagine if someone has a deep-seated fear of confrontation. Expressing dissatisfaction might feel like an insurmountable challenge. Another root cause is a desire for control. Passive-aggressive behavior can be a way for individuals to maintain a sense of control in a situation without openly asserting themselves. By being indirectly resistant or uncooperative, they feel a sense of power over the dynamic. Have you ever encountered someone who consistently insists they're fine when clearly they're not? This can be a manifestation of the desire for control as they attempt to steer the narrative without directly expressing their true emotions. So, whether it's the fear of confrontation or a desire for control, understanding these root causes can give us a glimpse into the motivations behind passive-aggressive behavior. The subtle nature of this communication style creates ripples that extend far beyond the surface. Let's dive into the effects on relationships and communication. Picture this scenario. You're in a relationship, and instead of addressing the issues directly, one party consistently resorts to passive-aggressive jabs. Over time, this can erode the foundation of trust and create a sense of uncertainty in the relationship. I once had a friend who would always say yes to plans but then find excuses to cancel at the last minute. It became clear that her passive-aggressive behavior was affecting the reliability of our friendship. It made me question the authenticity of our connection. Communication breakdown is another significant impact. When passive-aggressive behavior becomes a norm, open and honest dialogue becomes a rarity. Instead of addressing issues head-on, problems fester beneath the surface, creating an atmosphere of tension and unease. Take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever been in a situation where passive-aggressive behavior affected a relationship you cherished? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Whether it's the erosion of trust, strained communication, or a general sense of unease, the effects of passive aggressive behavior in relationships can be profound. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, and when passive aggressive tendencies enter the scene, it's like a silent disruptor. Imagine this: you're working on a project with a colleague, and instead of expressing concerns or disagreements openly, they offer vague responses and subtle resistance. The result? A breakdown in effective communication. Important details get lost in translation, and collaboration becomes a challenging puzzle. Perhaps you've experienced this in your personal life too. You suggest a plan, and instead of a straightforward discussion, you're met with passive resistance. The other person might not voice their concerns, but their lack of enthusiasm or cooperation speaks volumes, leaving you puzzled and frustrated. This breakdown in communication not only affects the exchange of ideas, but also hinders the resolution of conflicts. When feelings and concerns are not expressed openly, issues linger beneath the surface, ready to surface at unexpected times, creating an ongoing cycle of tension. I've personally seen friendships strained because of unresolved issues masked by passive-aggressive behavior. It's like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. You know there's a way out, but the indirect communication makes it challenging to find the right path. So, how do we counteract this communication breakdown? In the next segment, we'll explore strategies for addressing passive-aggressive behavior head-on and fostering open, constructive communication. Self-reflection is a powerful tool that allows us to examine our own behaviors and tendencies. Consider situations in your life where you've faced challenges or disagreements. How did you respond? Were your feelings expressed openly, or did you find subtle ways to convey your discontent? It's important to be honest with yourself as we navigate this introspective journey. I'll share a personal example. There was a time when a friend suggested a change in our usual routine, and instead of expressing my concerns, I went along with it reluctantly. Looking back, I realized I was being passive-aggressive by not voicing my true feelings. It's moments like these that call for self-awareness. Self-reflection is not just about judgment, but rather an opportunity for growth. Recognizing our own tendencies allows us to make positive changes in our communication style and enhance the quality of our relationships. Have you ever caught yourself being passive-aggressive? What did you learn from that experience? Remember, we're all on this journey of self-improvement together. Open communication is the key to unraveling the complexities of passive-aggressive tendencies. First and foremost, let's acknowledge the power of I statements. When expressing concerns or feelings, use phrases like I feel or I think. This personalizes your communication, making it less accusatory and more focused on your own experiences. For instance, instead of saying, you never listen, try, I feel unheard when we discuss certain topics. This shift in language encourages a more open and empathetic conversation. Active listening is another crucial component. When engaging in a conversation, give your full attention. This means making eye contact, nodding to show understanding, and asking clarifying questions. It creates a safe space for open communication. I've found that active listening not only helps in understanding the explicit messages, but also allows you to pick up on subtle cues that may indicate underlying concerns. It's a powerful skill in breaking down barriers created by passive-aggressive behavior. Being assertive is essential when addressing passive-aggressive behavior. Clearly expressing your needs, thoughts, and boundaries. It's about standing up for yourself while respecting the other person's perspective. Let's say someone consistently undermines your ideas with passive-aggressive comments. Instead of letting it slide, assertively express how their behavior impacts your set clear boundaries. This proactive approach fosters a healthier dynamic. Whether it's using I statements, practicing active listening, or being assertive, these strategies lay the foundation for open communication. Establishing clear boundaries is like putting up signposts in the communication landscape, guiding healthy interactions and fostering mutual respect. Setting boundaries means clearly defining what behavior is acceptable and what is not. It's about communicating your needs and expectations, creating a framework for respectful and constructive interaction. Imagine a scenario where passive-aggressive comments are a recurring issue. By setting boundaries, you communicate that such behavior is not acceptable. It's a proactive step towards creating a more positive and respectable environment. When establishing boundaries, be specific about the behavior that you find problematic. Instead of a vague statement like, stop being passive-aggressive, you might say, I find sarcastic comments hurtful, and I'd appreciate it if we would communicate openly. Being assertive ties back to our earlier discussion. Clearly expressing your boundaries is a powerful assertion of your needs and values. It's not about control, but rather about fostering a space where both parties feel heard and understood. For instance, if a colleague consistently undermines your contributions, you might say, I value constructive feedback, but the sarcastic comments feel unproductive. Let's discuss our ideas openly and respectively. Take a moment to reflect on your own boundaries. Are they clear to those around you? And how can you communicate them more effectively? And here we are, wrapping up our journey through the intriguing world of passive aggressive behavior. We've explored its definition, recognized its subtle traits, dived into the root causes, and examined the profound effects on relationships and communication. But fear not, because we've also equipped ourselves with strategies for open communication and the importance of setting boundaries. To recap, passive aggressive behavior is like a hidden language that can impact relationships and communication. Recognizing its traits and understanding the root causes are crucial steps towards fostering healthier interactions. Self-reflection plays a vital role. We've all been in situations where passive-aggressive tendencies have crept up, whether it's consciously or not. Recognizing these moments is the first step towards personal growth. As we navigate the complexities of communication, remember the power of open communication strategies, using I statements, active listening, and assertiveness. And don't underestimate the transformative impact of setting clear boundaries. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on this exploration. Your engagement and insights in the comments are invaluable. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with those who might benefit. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more content on effective communication and personal development. Together, we can create environments where authenticity thrives and relationships flourish. Remember, communication is the key to connection. Become you.